Every time there's a discussion about immigration policies or deportations, some people wonder why Black Americans don't rally behind these causes the way they did during the Civil Rights Movement. The truth is, while Black people have historically fought for justice, the fight against deportations isn't necessarily ours to lead, and here's why. Black Americans have a unique status in this country. Unlike many immigrant groups, Black Americans are specifically referenced in the U.S. Constitution through the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. These amendments were created to grant rights to formerly enslaved Black people, not immigrants. The freedoms and legal protections many now benefit from were won by Black struggles, yet Black people still face systemic oppression despite those victories. The Civil Rights Movement was about us, not a universal fight. The Civil Rights Movement of the 1960s was fought for Black liberation, not a general movement for all marginalized people. The laws and policies won during that era, like the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, were direct responses to Black oppression, not broader immigration issues. However, other groups have been able to leverage these gains for their own advancement, while Black Americans still face ongoing discrimination in housing, jobs, education, and policing. Immigrant communities haven't always stood with us. Black Americans are often expected to show up for every struggle, but when it comes to issues like police brutality, mass incarceration, or economic disenfranchisement, many immigrant communities remain silent, or worse, align themselves with anti-Black policies and attitudes. The reality is, there hasn't been the same level of solidarity when Black people needed it most. The burden of justice can't always fall on Black people. For generations, Black Americans have been at the forefront of movements for justice, not just for ourselves but for others. From abolition to voting rights to fair housing, we've set the foundation for civil rights in America. But that doesn't mean we are obligated to fight every battle. The fight against deportations is a valid struggle, but it is one that immigrant communities and their allies must lead for themselves. The system still fails Black people. Despite all that Black Americans have fought for, we still deal with systemic racism, wealth disparities, police violence, and underrepresentation in politics and business. If our own communities still don't have full equality, why should we prioritize someone else's struggle over our own? Black people are still fighting for justice in America. Our focus needs to be on securing our own rights and future first. Final thoughts. This isn't about being against immigrants, it's about recognizing that not every fight is ours to lead. Black Americans have done more than enough to push this country toward equality, and yet we are still struggling for full recognition and justice. If other communities want solidarity, they should start by standing with us in our battles first.